Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 21 career mode, and today we are here for the third round of my MotoGP season at the American GP in Austin, Texas. So if you haven't seen the last couple of episodes, I do recommend you go check them out because it's been an interesting season so far. The first two races been a bit up and down. Qualifying at Termas was absolutely terrible, 18th place on the grid, but the recovery to 7th place was pretty good. We ended up beating Quartararo and finishing just behind Zarco, which really helped me out in the championship because those were the guys that finished first and third in Qatar, so that's how we managed to maintain our second position. It'll be interesting to see how we get on here at Texas because in years gone by, that would be, an easy win pretty much, but in this game, the AI are actually pretty good at this circuit. If you remember back to the Moto2 season, I really struggled. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how we get on. I think it's going to be a tough weekend, but I suppose I'll let you know after free practice. So I'll see you after that session, and hopefully it's been a good one. So then, coming towards the end of practice, and you can see we've topped the timesheets. But if you look on the right-hand side, that was just a one-off lap that's put us there. On medium tyres, bit of power mode 3 as well, but I made a massive improvement on the setup. I just went in and changed one thing on the guided setup, and it's made the bike unbelievably quicker. I don't really understand why, but I'm just getting so much better exits. I just asked for a bit more acceleration, and yeah, the team seems to have given it to me, and it seems to be working perfectly. So we found a lot of time there, which has took me to the top of the timesheet. So I'm going to cautiously say, hopefully that's good enough to go through into qualifying 2, but we'll have a look at the end of the session. So I still ended the session top then ahead of Jorge Martin and Francesco Bagnaia. Now we've actually got a solid 2.5 tenths over Martin, so that's really good to see. Seems like the AI are quicker than me through Sector 2, I think it is. I don't think it's Sector 3. I think it's Sector 2 where the AI seems to be a bit quicker, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out exactly during the race, but it seems like I do have the advantage in a few sectors, and when I was actually following the AI on track, even before I made the self-improvement, I felt like I could run with them and pass them and stuff, so I think we've got a good shot this weekend, which is interesting because I thought I was going to struggle, but it's only free practice, not going to get too ahead of myself. There's still the whole qualifying and race sessions yet to come, so we'll head into qualifying, and hopefully we're straight into qualifying 2. So we're here then, we made it straight through into qualifying 2. 4th place overall on the combined times, so the 3 Ducatis actually did go a bit quicker than me, and Zarco, you can see, coming through Q1 again. So there's going to be some fast Ducatis in this session. We've obviously got the 2 factory Yamahas as well, 2 factory Suzukis, Aleix Espargaro, and Enea Bastianini, so it could be anybody's qualifying here. It's going to be quite tough. I'm not sure whether I've still got the setup on. I presume I have still got it on, but I know I have to get it back if it's reset me to default, but did I have a soft tyre on then? Oh, I had a soft front on for that lap I did. I thought I had a medium front. Well, I'll take a soft front again then here, because it felt okay, and it's recommended me a soft again. So maybe I'll give soft a try. I did try it in practice. It didn't feel too good, but that was before the setup tweak. So I'll head out. We'll see what we get out of this tyre. I'm not really expecting a lot, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Apparently Bagnaia's crashed already. Down towards turn 12, they seem to be sort of losing the front in there a lot. And they also go for some really stupid dive bombs into all of the hairpins, but that's obviously part of the course. Oh, they also crash here at turn 2. They get really wide out. In fact, we're about to see Rins do it. There you go. They get really wide out of turn 1, go on the grass and crash into 2, or just miss the grass, but then have a really bad trajectory through 2. Try and still make the corner anyway and tuck the front. So it seems like the AI are having some problems with some parts of this circuit, which, could play into my favour, but again, like I said in Argentina, you don't want to win because of that. That's not really the best way to win. So then here we are about to start the lap. I probably should have exited that last corner in first gear rather than second, but it's not the end of the world as we come up towards the hill. It's really tricky to spot some of the braking and turning in points for this track because there's so much elevation change. Sometimes it makes things pretty blind, and yeah, there you go. I messed up the first corner, so yeah, it'll probably take me a few attempts to get a decent lap in, especially with the invalidation. It's what's so easy to invalidate at this track. So I'm red through the first 2 sectors, but of course nobody's set a time yet, so it doesn't really mean anything, but I've managed to get through them, so that's a positive. So coming out the last corner, then up towards the line. Bagnaia is currently top. Where are we going to go? 2 tenths off him in second place currently, but there are some riders on red sectors, so that's not going to stand for long, I don't think. Yeah, Mir's gone top already, so we're already down to 3rd place. Out the last corner then, coming towards the line. This has been a better lap. Where's it going to put me? 4th place. So with 3 tenths off, Milo's currently on pole. So it seems like the softs actually are working for once. So I was absolutely dissing the soft tyres, but it seems to be the fact they're just working because it's cloudy. I Fourth place then, 7 minutes to go. I've not really got enough tyre wear left to do another lap, and obviously I've already sort of abandoned this one. So I'll head back to the pits. We'll see where we are in a couple minutes, but... Ooh, fourth place, that would have been an improvement over 18th, wouldn't it? There's an absolute flurry of AI lap times coming in now. I've been knocked down to 7th, and I don't think that's going to be the end of it, because Bastianini and Martin are both looking fast. So I'm going to have to put something together on this new set of tyres. It's going to have to be something a bit special, I think, as well. Through the final quarter then. Getting on the power, coming up towards the line. What's this going to be? Pole! It's pole by 61 thousandths of a second. So we've managed to pull out 4 attempts out the bag. We've been pushed down to 9th place. We've got back up onto pole position. And with a minute and 29 seconds left to go, I can't see that being beaten. Nakagami's in the pits. Rins on a nothing lap. Martin's on a nothing lap. Bastianini and Zarco aren't on any laps that are going to trouble the scorers at the front. So I think that might be it. Might be our second pole position. And our first on 120 AI in the MotoGP class, because obviously there was the issue at Qatar. I didn't expect that. I mean, I had better pace than I expected in free practice. Bagnaia has gone down as well, so that's definitely the end of his charge. He's not going to be able to get back on the bike and get round in time, I don't think. So I think that's it. I think this is going to be pole position. So in the end then, yes, it was pole position. We've kept it ahead of Bagnaia, 61 thousandths ahead of him, 64 thousandths ahead of Rins. It's so close at the front here. 3 of us within 1/10 of a second, and Martin only 3 thousandths outside of that. 7 of us within 2/10 of a second. Unbelievable. I'm not sure why Fabio Quartararo is down in 10th position. He's only half a second off himself, but obviously it's such a close field there. It wasn't enough. I was only a couple tenths in front of him, obviously, before I did that final lap. Morbidelli, not really sure what's happened with him. He's 1.4 off. Seems to be some issue there with Morbidelli, but this is going to be a packed grid. We've got 3 Ducatis right at the front. We've got a Suzuki. We've got a Yamaha. We've got a Honda as well. A Honda that's not Marc Marquez. Actually, where is Marc Marquez? Marc Marquez is not even in Q2 at Austin. Something has gone wrong there for Marc Marquez. I hadn't even thought of that. But where is Marc Marquez? He's not even in Q2. What a terrible season it's been for him so far. But let's get into the race then. I think this race is slightly short. I think it's only 5 laps rather than 6. So it'll come around a bit quicker, although the laps are obviously a bit longer. We've got to be careful not to pick up a penalty. That's probably the biggest issue at this track. But then also turn 1, the AI like to crash there in races, and obviously down at turn 11 as well, and turn 2. So it's a few corners where we've got to be careful because we could get taken out. So then we're looking at Bagnaia in 2nd position, Alex Rins in 3rd, but myself on pole position. I'm actually really surprised. I wasn't expected to get another pole position probably all season, but we've ended up with one. The tyre choice, all the sessions I've done have been cloudy so far. It's still recommended me a soft on the rear. I think that's a tad risky. I'm going to go for the medium, just to play it safe. I know the medium is good enough. It's still pretty good, so I'm not going to risk it by going on the soft tyre and burning it out. So the AI might be a little bit quicker than me if they tend to go on the soft, but we saw what happened if you go on a softer tyre. I thought Quartararo was on a medium tyre in the previous episode, but he was actually on a soft, so that's why he really dropped back. I looked at the starting grid again and saw that he was on a soft rear, so quite why he went for that, I have no idea, but I'm making sure that I'm not going to repeat his mistake. But let's get this race started then. Oh, this is going to be a cracker.
While the race officials are waving the green flag, the riders gather their final thoughts and get ready to race another US Grand Prix here at Austin.
So there we are then on pole position. Bagnaia alongside. He's got a hard front on. I think Rins has got a medium front. Lights are on, waiting for the lights to go here then at Texas. Lights out and away we go. It's been a decent start from Bagnaia. He's pulled alongside me already as we go down towards the first corner. So we've already lost the lead. We're going to have to try and sweep around the outside into turn 1. I think we've managed to do that. Bagnaia still on the inside. He's clipped the curb and he's down. He's hit me. I've not crashed somehow, but Nakagami's come out of the second corner. Sorry, the first corner in 2nd position. I'm still in the lead of the race. I know I've took to the escape road there, but we did get a bit of a touch, so there's not much I could do about that. Seems like there's a few riders down. Marc Marquez, speaking of him from Q2, he's up to 7th place. But again, I think it looks like there was a big pile-up at the first corner. And again, Bagnaia is down at the first turn after, well, contact with me. But there goes, whoa, Nakagami's just overtaken me. So Nakagami's taking the lead of the race. That's completely caught me off guard. I think I'm a bit flustered by all that crashing that happened early on. But Nakagami then leads. Could he win his first ever MotoGP race? He could do here. But we've got to try and get back on the back of him because I want to pick up those full 25 points. We've got a bit of a gap back to Mir, 4/10 of a second. So I think that carnage has created a bit of a gap. But here we go then, out of turn 11. We've got a good drive compared to Nakagami. We should be able to get straight past him here in the slipstream because the AI don't seem to be that rapid on the straight. I'm not even using power mode 3 here to try and make this pass. In fact, actually, he's sort of leveling me now. Let's go down towards turn 12. He moved over on me a little bit. Obviously, he was going a bit defensive. And for now, Nakagami keeps the lead, although he's a bit wide through 12. Can I try and get the switch back? No, not quite. So Nakagami at the minute leading the race, and he's leading it strong because we're actually... Oh, I've picked up a track limits 1. I was about to say we're pulling away from Mir, but yeah, he'll definitely pull away if I get a long lap penalty. Oh, right on the back of him. I went a bit hot into that last corner. But we end the first lap with a Honda leading, but it's not Marc Marquez. It's Takaki Nakagami. Can we get a bit of a slipstream, a bit of power mode 3 as we go down towards turn 1? I'm not going to go for a pass here. Or, well, apparently I am around the outside. Yeah, I'm going for a hot dog. That's where I'm going. I've gone super, super wide into the first corner. So that might... It's not allowed Jean Mir through. In fact, actually, there's still quite a big gap behind. But it's definitely helped Nakagami. It's given about half a second. I've still got 8 tenths back to Mir. There's been another crash behind. So it seems like AI are... Well, they're just not... They're just crashing a lot at this track, it seems. I've made a hash of that, so I think that might be it. I think Nakagami might have got me here, because he's got a huge lead now. So we've closed the gap back up to Taka Nakagami. We're only a couple attempts off his lap time, despite all of that. We've pulled out 1.5 seconds to Mir again, making sure I brake nice and early for the first corner, so don't make the same mistake. And I've just got to make sure I don't mess up the sweeping stuff in this first sector, and we're sort of game on again here, because we've closed the gap, so if we don't lose all that time again, we should be fine. So right on the back of Nakagami now. I'm looking at the inside for a pass for the lead. Oh, that was super, super close. Nakagami's wide. There's a bit of contact on the exit. Nakagami's going to keep the momentum. And we've probably cost ourselves a load of time there to Mir behind. In fact, it's now Rins. But there we go, down towards the first corner. I think I'm just going to let him have it because we had that contact coming out the last corner. But, I mean, ultimately, I don't think that was really my fault. I think that was just sort of our lines merging. I just gained on him so much into the last corner. I just sort of went for the move because I just saw it there. And I thought, I've got to take it while it's there. And then we had the contact coming out of the last corner. But I'm not really sure why me and Nakagami are pulling away so much from the other area. I mean, Rins obviously caught up a lot now because we just held each other up a lot. But yeah, me and Nakagami were sort of stretching away from the Suzuki's behind for some reason. Although Rins actually is closing a lot suddenly. He's just gained like another 4 attempts on this lap. And I'm actually underneath my lap from previous. So it's not like we lost that much time. So Rins is on his way on this penultimate lap. So this race, there could still be another twist yet. So we're all over the back of Taka now. Last time we battled an Idemitsu bike for the victory, it was Igor in Moto 2, and we lost out. This time I want to make sure I'm in front of Nakagami. So as we go into the penultimate turn, he's been struggling a little bit through here, although I've not done that too ideally, so I've actually not capitalised on being so close to him before. We'll go into the last corner again. I'll look for this same move at the inside. This time, though, that time was a bit more optimistic, but I've cost him so much. You just stick your nose at the inside, and that's put Rins into contention. So this is a 3-rider fight here for this final lap of the race. And right behind Nakagami, we're going to go for it again into the first corner because he was just going so slow on the straight. We've taken the lead of the race, but I've made a mistake. I've gone wide again. That's allowed Nakagami through. That could be curtains for us. And Rins, we've got to watch out for Rins because Rins is within striking distance now. So if we make a mistake, Rins is going to be straight underneath it. We don't even have to make a mistake. You know what the AI are like. So we've just got to be careful. If we are on a different line to the AI, Rins could be trying to get through. Oh, Nakagami's made a small mistake. He cut the curb. That's cost him a bit of time. We've actually got back a second over Rins again now, so I'm not sure what happened to Rins, but he seems to maybe have run out of tyre. So unfortunate for Rins, he was half a second behind, but he's lost another 6 tenths, so I think he's probably out of this battle now. So I think it is back to me and Nakagami. Nakagami cut that corner a little bit there. That's probably helped him. He should probably get a bit of a Challerbys warning for that, but of course we cut a corner earlier and got a Challerbys warning. It's a fair play. We're using the Power Mode 3 now, so this is the last lap. Can we try and make a pass down towards turns 12? We've been much better than Nakagami the whole race into this corner. Braked a little bit early because I had to slipstream Power Mode 3. We've gone around the outside, but I've completely messed it up. Even with the braking earlier, it's still not good enough, and that was a Challerbys warning. That's a little bit harsh, to be honest, considering that I lost a lot of time, and probably my race win from that. The rear squirming so much, but I just don't think we're going to be close enough to Nakagami now to pull off this pass. Try and maximise the exit out of here. We're super close. If he makes a mistake, we're right there. We are going to be right there. If he makes a mistake, it might be that last corner move that I've been trying in the last couple of laps, but I might have to do it with a bit more force and a bit more foresight. Although we're right at the back of him now as we go to the penultimate turn. Not going to make a pass into here because you're definitely not going to make a pass through the penultimate turn. So here we go then. Down towards the last corner, and you know what? He's plenty far in front. So we're looking again at the inside of this last corner, but it's just not going to be enough. He's got a bit wide though as he tries to go defensive as we come out the last corner towards the line. Are we going to beat Nakagami to the line? I don't know. I think Nakagami got the victory though. I don't think we quite beat him. 27 thousandths of a second it was in the end, so Nakagami wins his first ever MotoGP race. So close to myself in second place there. Yet again, not a victory, so a little bit frustrating. I was hoping that we would be able to get a win here, but it just wasn't to be. It just wasn't to be there. Nakagami, he held firm all race. Obviously, he took the lead from us very, very early on. And I tried a few passes. Honestly, obviously, if I was being a bit more aggressive with it, I probably could have kept that position from before where we touched in the last corner and I got the lead by sort of letting back through. But I wanted to do it in a fair manner. Unfortunately, we kind of made that mistake down towards the turn 12. Even though I actually hopped on the brakes pretty early, the bike was pretty bad on the brakes all weekend in terms of a hop, skipping and jumping. It was just sort of stepping out, which that's why I chose the Yamaha, by the way, because I saw people in the first video when I had the AI wrong thinking, why'd you pick the Yamaha? It's super good. But it's not, that's why I picked it. I picked it so that I would lose battles like this against Nakagami. I wanted to make it more difficult. If I was on the Honda, I would have just leveled him on the brakes and easily done him. But on the Yamaha, you can't. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll take second, because I came into the weekend thinking I was going to do terribly, and I didn't even get beaten by a title contender anyway, so, you know what, I'll absolutely take it. But speaking of the title contenders, then we've got Quartararo came 5th. Fair play, he kind of snuck his way through. He's only 2.3 seconds off the win in the end there. And where did Zarco come? Zarco came 15th, so he must have got knocked off. So, yeah, all these riders down here must have been involved in that crash. Oliveira, Bezzecchi, Bastianini, Binder, Gardner, Fernandez, Aleix, Bagnaia, Dovizioso, Martin, and Zarco, obviously. Binder was only 5 seconds off the win, so it was a super close pack, actually. I think it's just because me and Nakagami were battling. I think we both could have done much better lap times if we weren't battling so much. It was that last corner every single lap. I kept sort of sticking a nose at the inside, and then he'd run it wide, and it just cost us both a load of time. So looking at the Riders' Championship then, I said Nakagami's not a contender. He's only 10 points away. He's closer than Zarco is now, so, you know, we've got to watch out for Nakagami, but I've taken the lead of the championship then ahead of Fabio Quartararo. He's now 7 points behind me. Nakagami moves up to 3rd place, Miller stays 4th, and Rins actually jumps up into 5th place. So far, just because of how chaotic these first few races have been, I've stayed in the lead, but I've not got a huge lead. Usually, when you get these kind of seasons, which you do get sometimes, even in the previous MotoGP games, where you got different AI at the front in different races due to crashes and different things, I'll have like a 20-point lead by this point because I'll have won all 3. But because I haven't, I've come 2nd, and 7th. It's a close championship, so that's exactly what we want to see. And in the Teams Championship then, we actually moved back up to 2nd, so close. If I'd won that race, we would have actually taken the lead back. Suzuki jump up to 3rd place, LCR Honda Idemitsu jump up to 6th, Pramac moved down a few there, so not a good weekend for Pramac Racing. And if we look at the Constructors' Championship then, we actually jump back ahead again, Yamaha 4 points ahead of Ducati, obviously because it was a Honda that beat us. Honda stay 3rd, Suzuki moved back ahead of Aprilia into 4th, and KTM stay in 6th position. So if I can, I'm going to have a look at that first corner crash, because obviously that was really the turning point of the race. It completely changed the face of it, made it a 2-horse race at the front, whereas I think if the other Ducatis had been there, I think they probably would have checked out. I think they would have had a lot better pace than Nakagami did. So we actually can watch it, which is always great. So I'll actually just watch it for the TV to start with, because of course it was right at the front. Bagnaia went for the pass up the inside. I left him plenty of room, but he clipped the curb, lost the front, fell off, clipped me. That's what got Martin. Oh my, wow. Okay, that is a big accident. And you saw some of the AI doing that wheelie thing down the hill that they've been doing all weekend. So we're going to look on board with Bagnaia. It's pretty obvious what's happened here. He's gone for the inside, and he's tried to avoid me a little bit. He's clipped the curb, and it's just unsettled his bike. Down he goes, but it's more the carnage behind we want to look at. I think the first one looked like it was Zarco to me. We go through this first corner. If we slow it down, yeah, it's going to be a Zarco because Bastianini's on his outside. Oh, no, actually, no, it's Martin. So if we actually have a look at Martin, who is actually positioned in front of Zarco, he didn't really take much of an avoiding action of that bike, did he? And that's how Zarco got involved. So we will watch Zarco's point of view in a minute. We're coming through the first corner, so there's a crash. There's not a lot you can do to avoid it, but he could have sat up. He probably wouldn't have fell off. Well, he didn't fall off. Actually, did he initially? He only crashed as he got knocked off by Bastianini. So Bagnaia managed to take out 3 fellow Ducatis there. So slowing it down on board with Zarco. You can see obviously there's been the crash. Miller actually almost got caught up in it. Zarco probably could have avoided that if he just sort of checked up a little bit more and sort of tried to follow Miller's line, although he probably would have lost the position to Marquez. But yeah, he just rides straight into sort of Martin. Oh, Fabio was very lucky to avoid that. He didn't really avoid it, but he was lucky to not crash in it. And that's why Fabio sort of slowly made his way through the pack, because he got really messed up at the first corner. He lost a load of time. Look on board with Bastianini. Obviously, he just crashed straight to Martin. Again, he did a bit of a stoppie, just like in the previous episode. So Bastianini doing stoppies seem to be the theme of this season so far. And then 2 KTMs are down as well. Oliveira and Remy Gardner. There's also a VR46 bike and Darren Binder down. No, it's Dovi, isn't it? Yeah. So on board with Oliveira then. Coming through here, you can see obviously there is the big crash in front. And oh, okay. Again, a rider that probably had plenty of time to sort of try and sit up and at least attempt to avoid that. I'm not saying that I would have avoided that in the same situation because, of course, you're in the zone. But he probably could have sort of sat up as he's seen the carnage happen. But there we go then. Just both of them just riding straight into that pile of 3 Ducatis as it turned out to be. You can see the VR46 bike down, sort of clouting into Dovi. So we'll have a look at which VR46 bike that was. I think it might have been Marini. So it's actually Bezzecchi, not Marini. So if we have a look at this on board, it's an interesting crash. You can see Alex Marquez actually hits one of the Ducatis, and that causes obviously Bezzecchi to hit him up the back. And then Dovi, again, is just another innocent party in that and can't avoid it. Not really sure what Dovi was doing there. I said he was an innocent party, but I mean, he braked and then accelerated again. He accelerated into the bike, which then flicked it off and caused him to make him do a wheelie. And then he got absolutely smacked by it again, and down he went. So, yeah, not really a lot of sympathy for Dovi there, because that was a bit of a stupid thing to do. But now that we've looked at all those incidents, I'll head back to the Career Hub and see what we got for this weekend. So then, from this weekend, we gained 34,900 reputations. That more than offsets the amount we lost last weekend, which takes you up to 594,600 reputation. And on the credits front, once again, we gained 39,333, which takes us up to 688,683. As for the research data, it's not been a spectacular weekend, to be honest, in terms of the stuff I could actually do in the practice sessions. Seems like we've gained a decent amount still on actually each component, but yeah, I couldn't do a lot of the stuff in practice because I couldn't do the times, and by the time I got down to the pace, I didn't really want to do 3 laps in a row, having to improve every lap as well. It's going to be really, really tough. Especially at Austin. Those ones are always sort of the worst at Austin, where you have to do several laps. But I managed to do track study, got gain access to Q2. The tyre test, that required me to do a time on all the tyres that at that point I couldn't do. But we've got 5,270 on the engine, 1,670 on the frame, 2,570 on the aerodynamics, and 445 on the electronics. So we've still got a fair amount then for each thing. But we've actually got a notification here, technical staff. So it's a new telemetrist. Well, that's the one that's good. I want a new chief engineer if I can get a new one, so we'll refuse that. We can also upgrade something on the aerodynamics as well now, so that's good. Obviously, it's the only aerodynamics upgrade, so we may as well. So I'll add everybody that's on the aerodynamics. Yeah, I was doing automatically assigned staff, and it was taking loads of people, and I was thinking, surely there's not that many people, but it was taking them away from other departments somehow, which I'm not really sure how that happened, but there we go then. We'll get the 2 aerodynamics people, so it's going to take 17 weeks. So it's going to be a while before we get that, but it's aerodynamics, so it doesn't matter too much. But there we go then, we've not got to worry about aerodynamics anymore. We're coming along strong with the engine and the frame. Electronics, yeah, we're actually a little bit down on that, to be honest. But anti-wheelie's been fairly good. Traction control, yeah, probably could do with a tweak. Power mode 1, or power 1, I guess, to get a bit more power at the bike, that would always be nice. So I'll keep my eye on that, but for now, it's pretty good. Yeah, the development's coming on pretty well. But that pretty much wraps up this episode then. A very successful one. I thought it was going to be really, really tough. Like I said, I thought I was going to struggle a lot because I did in Moto 2 at this track. But seemed like we weren't too bad. I did struggle a little bit on the brakes, actually, as you probably noticed in the race. And that unfortunately cost me in the end. Especially, again, following an AI, you can't quite brake in the right position as well. I know it sounds like a bit of an excuse, but if you've ever done it, you know you can't really brake as late as you want when you're behind an AI. Or you can't brake at the right point or take the right line, things like that, and it just puts you off a bit. But yeah, ultimately it was my mistake that we didn't win. Super, super close, only a few thousandths away, but those are the margins in MotoGP. But I hope you guys did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you all stay safe, and I shall see you in the next one.